Imagine a scene that looks like a dramatic movie, but unfortunately it happens in real life with cruelty that exceeds even the worst expectations. A mother, willing to sacrifice her own past to save her daughter's future, receives as gratitude a gesture of violence and ingratitude that would leave anyone speechless. But what did this woman do next? Instead of crying or complaining, she reacted in such an unexpected way that she left her aggressor without action, paralyzed by her own shame. Good afternoon, listening friends. I am Andre Branco, and you are on the Family Secrets channel, where each story is a life lesson that can change your perspective. Today, get ready for an account that will touch your emotions and make you rethink the true meaning of love, sacrifice, and dignity. Anna Clara Mendonca looked through the bus window, while the rain thinly drew melancholy risks on the glass. The bottled traffic, the gray sky, and the tiredness in the body reflected the weight it carried in the soul. Delayed accounts, home installments, extra shifts. His life had become an endless race against debt. 5 years earlier, when she and Lucas decided to get married, it seemed like a dream. Young, passionate, full of plans, they swore that together they would conquer the world. He, a talented bricklayer in a construction company, she, a meticulous accountant in a small company. The goal was clear, having a home of its own. In the early years, they rented a tiny apartment, saving each penny for the entrance of a property. When they finally succeeded, they bought a conjugate in a distant condominium, financed by the bank. But then, the problems began to emerge, first as small signs, then as an avalanche. Lucas arrived late, sometimes drunk, and Anna Clara justified, "It's just tiredness, the stress of work," until he was fired. 3 months at home, promising that any day would get something better. Meanwhile, the economies won, and the house's portions did not expect. Anna Clara took a second job, making small business accounting at night. Lucas finally got a job on a work, but earned half of what before. Annoyed, explosive, he spent his days complaining about life, as if the world gave him something. The arrival of his son, Peter, only worsened the situation. Diapers, food, clothes, each expense was a coup in the already combated budget. The installments of the house became an unbearable burden. Anna Clara tried to talk. "Lucas, what if we asked for help her parents? Or mine?" The answer was a scream. "Your mother already looks at me like a failed. Do you think I'm going to give her this taste? No, we'll solve alone." But they were not solving anything. Anna Clara had already delayed 2 payments, and the bank threatened to execute the debt. The stress consumed it. He lost weight. Deep dark circles settled under his eyes, and Peter, sensitive to tension, cried into the night. Lucas, in turn, drowned frustration in alcohol, coming home later and later. When he arrived. Until one night he didn't appear, Anna Clara collapsed. He took the phone and dialed the number he avoided for months. On the other side, his mother's voice, Clara Alts, sounded firm, as if she already waited for that call. "Daughter, what happened?" And for the first time in years, Anna Clara allowed tears to speak for her. He told everything, the debts, the fear of losing the house, the shame, the exhaustion. "I go there tomorrow," said Clara without hesitation. "Just send me the address." When he hung up, Anna Clara felt something I didn't experience a long time ago, a thread of hope. The next day, Clara arrived at noon. Anna Clara, seeing her at the door, threw herself in her arms like a child. The mother hugged her hard, kissing her head. "Calm down, my daughter. Everything will work." Lucas, seeing his mother-in-law, twisted his face in a gesture of discomfort, but said nothing. For him her presence was like a mirror that reflected her flaws. Clara never confronted him directly, but her eyes seemed to say, "I know her true character." During lunch, Clara listened carefully to Anna Clara's account of financial difficulties, asking accurate questions, without trials. Lucas remained silent, poking the food on the plate, throwing furious eyes to the mother-in-law. "How much do you owe to the bank?" asked Clara. "Almost 2 million," replied Anna Clara softly. Clara nodded, as if he made an irrevocable decision. "I will help." Lucas did not contain himself. "How? Do you have 2 million left?" Clara looked at him with a calm that made him even more annoyed. "I have my mother's house inside. After she passed away, I never had the courage to sell her. But now it's time." Anna Clara arranged. "Mother, that place is sacred to you. I always said it never opened a hand." Clara held her hands. "It's just a house, my daughter. You're my blood. There's nothing to argue." Lucas did not believe what he heard. That was the same place from which Clara always spoke with such affection, the place where she spent her childhood. "Are you seriously serious?" he asked incredulously. "Completely," confirmed Clara. "I'd already talked to a region broker. There is a lot of interest in properties like this, especially for summer projects. The value must cover its debt." Anna Clara cried with relief, while Lucas felt a mixture of gratitude and humiliation. On the one hand, the solution to your problems. On the other hand, the shame of depending on the mother-in-law, precisely the person he wanted most to prove that he did not need. The sale took almost 2 months. Clara dedicated himself personally, calling brokers, traveling to sign papers. Ana Clara suffered to see her mother say goodbye, little by little, of what was her story. Clara, however, kept her stance firm, though sometimes when she flipped into the old albums of the site, a tear draft without anyone seeing. Lucas, during this period, became even more bitter. He was decreased. For friends, he boasted that he soon paid the house, but omitted the origin of the money. At home, he responded with rudeness, drank more, and exploded for any reason. Ana Clara endured in silence. Soon it is over, he repeated to herself. When the debt is paid, everything will improve. Finally, Clara called, "Ready, daughter. The money is here. Tomorrow I go there." That night, Ana Clara prepared a cake the first time in months she had to cook. Lucas, knowing that the mother-in-law would arrive with the money, surprisingly annoyed. He even bought a bottle of sparkling wine and walked around the house whistle, as if a load had been taken from his back. Clara came to noon. Ana Clara opened the door and froze. His mother looked older years, his back eyes, the thin face. In hand, a leather bag spent. "Mom," Ana Clara whispered, hugging her hard. "Thank you for everything," entered the room. Lucas, in an unusual gesture, greeted Clara with a forced smile. "Good afternoon." Clara, "All right on the road." "Thank you." Lucas, "All right," she replied, sitting on the couch with a side. Ana Clara served tea and the newly baked cake. Lucas, impatient, shook his legs. "So, it brought," he let out bluntly. Clara nodded, opened her bag, and removed a pack of notes tied with a seat range. "2 million. I told you 3 times," he said, putting them on the table. Ana Clara looked at that money as if it were her salvation, the freedom of debt, the chance to breathe again. "Mom, I have no words," murmured. With eyes full of water. Lucas stretched his hand. "Give me here, Clara. Tomorrow I go to the bank and I want everything." Clara hesitated for a moment, as if to give something, then slowly handed over the pack. "Take good care of this money, Lucas. It was all I had." He grabbed the notes, flipped them quickly, and a greedy glow lit his face. "Perfect," he exclaimed, getting up. Now what happened next was so abrupt that Ana Clara took seconds to understand. Lucas, with a quick movement, kept the money in his own bag and, without warning, fired a violent kick in Clara's abdomen. "This is for you to learn not to get into where it is not called," he shouted, while Ana Clara's mother folded her pain, panting. Ana Clara freezes, paralyzed by the shock. But then something unexpected happened. Clara, still curved, lifted her head slowly, and smiled, a quiet, almost serene smile. "Lucas," she said, with a calm voice that froze everyone's blood in the living room, "you just made the biggest mistake of your life." He laughs, sarcastic. "Oh, is it? And what are you going to do? Huh? Call the police?" Clara was straightened, adjusting the shirt with dignity. "No, I will do something much worse." She took her cell phone, dialed a number, and without taking her eyes off Lucas, said, "Lawyer Martins. It's Clara Alves. Please enable the donation revocation clause. Yes, from now on, that money belongs to me again, and prepare the papers to process for aggression and misappropriation." Lucas paled. "What?" he stammered. Clara explained, still smiling. "Before you give you the notes, I had already transferred the value to a blocked account in my name. These banknotes, they are false. A gift from my broker, who, incidentally, is a cousin of a delegate. The recording of the scene is already on the way to the police." Lucas' smile disappeared, his face writhing in panic. You said all this?" Clara nodded. "No, my dear, you who set up. I just assured your greed was your own trap." Ana Clara watched the astonished scene, while Lucas, trembling, fell sitting in his chair, realizing that, in a single gesture of violence, he had lost everything: money, the house, freedom, and, above all, the respect of the only person who still believed him. Clara, in turn, turned to her daughter and reached out. "Come, my daughter, let's go. This story is over." And for the first time in a long time, Ana Clara felt that she could finally start over again. "We are free." And then, like lightning in clear sky, he turned violently and fell on a brutal kick in Sophia Alexovna's womb. A muffled moan escaped from her lips as the body bent in half, as if the air had been torn from his lungs. Nasha let out an inhuman scream, throwing herself toward her mother. "What are you doing?" Her voice broken between tears and fury. Gleb, however, remained immovable, the fingers shrill around the notes, the face contouring by a mask of pure hatred. "Take, your old witch. Always look at me like I was trash. I thought I didn't see your eyes. You're indirect. Nastya deserved someone better. It deserved more. Here's your gratitude." Nastya, blinded by anger, was about to throw himself upon him, but then something unexpected happened. Sophia Alexeyevna straightened slowly, as if an invisible force supported her, and on his lips a strange, almost serene smile flourished. Her eyes, clear as ice, nailed themselves in Gleb as she pronounced, calmly and distinctly, "They are false." The silence that followed was sharp. Gleb froze, his mouth ajar, his face petrified in an expression of pure astonishment. Her eyes jumped from her hands to her mother-in-law's face, as if trying to decipher a puzzle. "What?" he arranged, the hoarse voice of unbelief. "These are false money, Gleb," repeated Sophia Alexovna, the smile still intact. "I made a point of ordering them especially for you. The real money is already in the bank in Nastya's account. The mortgage was paid yesterday." The blood abandoned Gleb's face in an instant, leaving him from a cadaverial pallor. His fingers trembled as he flipped through the banknotes, holding them against the light, as if the truth could be revealed by back of the paper. "It can't be, it can't," murmured, the mind refusing to accept the blow. "It can, yes, Gleb," replied Sophia Alexovna, with a tranquility that filled him with dread. "I had a long time ago I knew the kind of man you were. I just expected you to show your true face." Nadja looked at her mother and husband, her heart beating so hard that she seemed to want to break her ribs. "Mother, is this true?" Sophia Alexeyevna nodded, her eyes shining with a mixture of triumph and sadness. "The broker and I were at the bank yesterday. I demanded that the mortgage be settled directly, without the money going through intermediaries. Does this pile of falsifications?" She pointed to the notes thrown on the floor. "I was the one who ordered them. I wanted to test how you would react to my help." The understanding of the deceit reached Gleb as a punch in the stomach. With an animal roar, he threw his banknotes on the floor and advanced against Sophia Alexovna, his fists, his eyes injected with hatred. But Nadja was between them, the tense body like an archery. "Don't dare to touch her. Get out of my house now." Here, Gleb laughed, a guttural and bitter sound. "This house is ours." "It's no longer," said Sophia Alexovna, without a shred of hesitation. "When we set the mortgage, I asked the deed to be transferred exclusively to Nastya's name. The bank answered, 'After all, you have not contributed a penny in recent payments.'" Gleb's world collapsed. He looked around, like an animal halted, the walls closing over him. "You can't, that's illegal." "We can, yes, Gleb," said Sophia Alexeyevna, relentless. "And we did. Now, add your things and go away. Or do you prefer me to call the police and file a complaint for aggression?" I'm sure the neighbors heard their screams. He knew he had lost. Without a word, he dragged himself to the bedroom, threw some clothes on his sports bag, and left, knocking the door so hard that the window shaked. Nastya, still stunned, sank on the couch next to her mother. "Mom, did you plan all this?" Sophia Alexeyevna sighed, passing her fingers through her daughter's hair. "Not everything, my dear. I really sold your grandmother's house to help you. But when you told me how Gleb treated you, how I looked at me, I decided to test if he was worthy of this help. And, as you see, I didn't go. What if he had only grateful?" asked Nadja, his voice shaking. "Then I would have given you the real money," said the mother, simple, "and we would have gone to the bank together. I would have admitted that I was wrong on him." Nastya hugged her tightly, her face pressed against her shoulder. "And now, Mom, how am I going to live alone, with the child?" "It won't be alone," said Sophia Alexeyevna, firmly. "I'll be with you. Let's take care of each other." That night Nadja couldn't sleep. Emotions spun in his mind as a whirlwind, the pain of betrayal, the relief of the paid debt, the gratitude for the mother, the fear of the unknown future. Gleb was gone for 2 weeks. Then he called sober, broken, begging for a second chance. Nastya was irreducible. He threatened with processes, division of goods. But when Sophia Alexeyevna reminded her of the police report that could be registered, she fell quickly. The divorce was fast, almost silent. Gleb gained the right to see his son on weekends, but often was missing. "Sometimes I sent pension when you remembered." Nastya got a new job, with better salary and flexible times. Sophia Alexeyevna took care of her grandson, managed the house. Little by little, life reorganized. 5 years passed. Kirill joined school a smart, lifelike boy, nothing like his father. Nastya met Dmitri, an engineer in the building next to it, a calm, reliable man. He easily won Kirill and gained respect from Sophia Alexovna effortlessly. When Dmitri asked Nadja in marriage, she didn't hesitate a second. Gleb was not invited to the wedding, although he still appeared sporadically, usually to ask for money. They said he drank a lot, changed jobs often, lived in a rented room on the outskirts. On the night of the party, when the last guests were gone, Nastya was alone with her mother. "You know, Mom," she said, looking at her own hands, I remember that day. From your smile, of those 2 words that changed everything." Sophia Alexovna hugged her, squeezing her against him. I just wanted you to be happy, my daughter. And now, looking at you, I see that's worth it. They stood by the window, watching the city lit in the night. Two strong women who had faced the storm and left it with his head up. Mother Nash suddenly remembered in those false notes. What happened to them? Sophia Alexeyevna smiled, enigmatic. I burned them that same night. Sometimes you have to let go to move on. And then they laughed lightly, as they laugh at those who have nothing more to fear.